Welcome, everyone. This is Recovery Dharma. My name is Julia. I'm one of the facilitators in the Spokane Sangha, and I'm so happy to be here. I've been gone for a couple of days. I had COVID, and I'm slowly recovering, and I am just so happy to practice with you today. This is the sentiment of metta that I'd like to share with you, and it's actually so perfect. This one reads, "May my meh moods become moments of marvel." Let's chime that one because that's just too good. May my meh moods become moments of marvel. Boy, was I ever meh with this sickness. Meh. Have you ever felt meh? I would imagine the journey of recovery for everyone is punctuated with just moments of like, ugh, this is hard, this is boring, meh. And so this is such a wonderful practice. We call it in the Spokane Sangha and in our Satyaseva practice, there's a mindfulness practice called, or an instrument of peace called Ugh to Ooh. And it's anytime you feel yourself like, ugh. And then there's this pause, this moment where you can allow yourself a little, ooh. I don't have to stay stuck in the ugh, in the meh. There might be something here to explore. It's not automatic, it's not always a quick awareness, but the more you practice and the more aware one is of their own uggy, meh, blah feelings, the quicker one finds access to, ooh, what's here? What are the conditions? What are the causes of this discomfort, this impatience, this blah? And it's not about getting rid of it. It's not about even transforming it. It's about creating space for something else to arise. That's the marvel. Is my meh is allowed to be as meh-y as it wants to be. And I know that something else is there. There's always more to the story. And that's actually what we're going to explore today in our meditation. So I'd like to invite you to find a position in your body that has lots of ease. And so today, if you'd like to lie down and even rest, fall asleep, please know that that is a-okay. On the journey of recovery, the body needs so much time to rest. Rest is the body's indirect way of restoring itself. Take a moment to breathe. On Wednesdays, we've been exploring the work of an ancient practitioner from the 8th century, in fact. His name was Shantideva. And his teachings were, for a very long time, shared orally. He just talked about them, and other people talked about them until one day they were written down and translated. So we've been studying one of the translations. And we're in a chapter 9, where we're exploring the cultivation of wisdom. And throughout this particular chapter, Shantideva has spent a lot of time talking about the body. And aspects of what he's been sharing have been a real turnoff for me, because he is so detached from the body, even going as far as saying that the body's an illusion, there really is no body, and so on. And I don't find any of that perspective particularly helpful when I am embodied. I have a body. And yet he's coming from a very spiritual point of view. And what he's trying to emphasize is that the body and what we see and what we perceive can be a place of confusion and distortion. In other words, we can put a lot of emphasis, even overemphasis, on the body, the way it looks, the way it feels, its aspects. And yet, what he's really trying to say is that there's more to the story. There's always more to the story. So I'd like to share with you 3 verses, and then we'll talk about them a little bit. He writes, if you peel away the layers of the trunk of a plantain tree, you will never discover anything substantial. In the same way, if you could conduct a detailed analysis, you will never be able to find a self or I. I don't know that I agree with him in that if I peeled away a plantain tree, which I think is interesting that I have no idea what that even looks like. So I'll thank you for your smiles. If I peeled the bark off a maple tree or an oak tree, I would find a whole bunch of stuff that I would think is substantial and curious. But would I find the whole of the tree? That's really what he's trying to get at. Would I find the whole of its life? Would I find all of the things that make a tree just by peeling the bark and then more layers and more layers? He goes on to say this: neither the feet nor the calves are the body, nor are the thighs or the loins. Neither the front nor the back of the abdomen is the body, nor are the chest or the shoulders. Neither the sides nor the hands are the body, nor are the arms or the armpits. None of the inner organs is the body, nor is the head or neck. So where is the body to be found? There's more to the story. That's really what he's getting at. And the cultivation of wisdom, for me anyway, is rooted in my capacity to be curious and to be spacious and to keep wondering. All of the things, my feet, my calves, my organs, my abdomen, my shoulders, these are all aspects of my body. Are they the whole of my body? My 5-year-old body is still within this 60-year-old body. My 80-year-old body is yet to be revealed in this 60-year-old body. Where is the body? Why is this relevant? What does this have to do with recovery? One of the things on the journey of recovery is the focus on misconduct, all the things we've done wrong due to the misuse and abuse of substances, all the things that have happened because of negative habit energy. And sometimes the way people talk about their experiences, and sometimes the way they're encouraged to talk about their experiences, is in such a manner as to become all defining, as if that's all this person is. What's the saying? Once an addict, always an addict. What Shantideva is suggesting is that is false. And not only is it false, it's a terrible distortion. There is so much more to every single person who suffers with negative habit energy, no matter what that energy is, no matter what that habit is. There's always more to the story. And while telling our stories and identifying as an addict can help bring forward a little bit of honesty, can help alleviate the habit energy of denying this is really happening, this did happen, this misconduct was going on. All of that is true and not the whole truth. The whole truth is the bit that is more to the story. And this is why, in contemporary circles of recovery, people are moving more and more away from identifying as an addict, as an alcoholic, and moving toward the identifier as I am a person in recovery. I am a person with negative habit energy that I am working to understand and shift. And what this does is it creates in the mind and in the heart a little bit more space to be more than just the sum of our worst behaviors. And so this is an opportunity to peel away a few layers and notice that there is indeed something profoundly substantial waiting there. You. There is a magnificent you there that's always been there. There's a magnificent me waiting to be excavated. And that's what we do when we come to the three jewels of Buddhism, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, is we slowly excavate, we slowly remove the debris and eventually reveal our Buddha nature, which is incorruptible, a marvel beyond the layers of meh and blah. are moments of marvel. So if you could tell a story of a marvel in your life, what would that be? It's risky business telling that story, especially if you have an orchestra like I do, filled with critics ready to keep me small and diminished, clanging cymbals, off key instruments, and so on. And so, what I do to kind of encourage myself and pump myself up to remember, wait a minute, I'm more than my worst things, is I sit nice and tall. It may sound so subtle, but it helps. And so if you're sitting down, go ahead and sit a little extra tall, straighten your back, roll your shoulders up towards your ears, and then bring them down. And as you bring them down, roll them back so that your heart lifts a little bit. This is called sada, heart led. Sada is also a word in Pali that is translated as faith, or in Buddhist terms, it's the word for confidence. I am so confident in the negative stories I can tell about myself. And what I'm working to cultivate is some confidence in the positive stories too. One of the positive stories that I'll share with you today, just as an example, it's a marvel. My bees love when I sing to them. Yesterday, when I went to visit them, they were quite fiery. I didn't have my smoker with me, so oh man, they were not happy about me disturbing their hive. They were pinging my bee suit and oh my goodness. And so then I remembered, oh no, you like this chant. So I started chanting to them and they all immediately just started calming down. It was really incredible. That's a marvel. Such a simple little thing. What's your marvel? Breathe in with me. Just hold it for a second. Breathe out. Pause a second. Breathe in the question, what's my marvel? Breathe out some space to let it reveal itself in its own time and its own way. If you don't know right now, invite that to be perfect, perfectly okay. Breathing in, breathing out. Oh, okay. And end today, friends, with a dedication of merit. And I'd like to do two things today, inspired by one of the shares in our Sangha members. You know, one of the things we do in the Spokane Sangha is something I like to call mindful crosstalk. Many people I encounter are taught not to crosstalk. I know I'm not supposed to crosstalk, but, and then they do. They make mention of something they heard by someone else. And so to be mindful with what we hear is simply to pay recognition to the ways that we're inspired, the way people say things that really help us find illumination and clarity. We can be mindful with the things we hear in our practice, and it's okay to say so. Today, we heard from a community member who was sharing about the recognition that to dedicate this practice for anyone who might be suffering. It's an energetic way of putting goodness in the world with intentionality, and you never know who it's going to reach, when it's going to reach them, and in what manner. But it doesn't matter. The energy is infinite and powerful. And so we dedicate this practice, the merit, the goodness of this practice, the wisdom we heard today, the vulnerability we heard today, the raw material that human beings are working with in order to understand themselves, and not only understand, but heal and transform themselves, and by extension, heal and transform all of us. So let's take a moment and recognize that there are people who are in ICE holding facilities, detention facilities, without due process. They're suffering in ways I will never know. There are people in all kinds of incarcerated states. There are people who are in treatment and who really want to go home. They don't want to stay. There are people in treatment who don't want to go home and who'd rather stay. There are people who are dealing with terrible injuries, life-changing injuries in this moment. There are people in this moment who have left their physical bodies, and in their absence, their loved ones will miss them. There are people who are trying to survive on the streets. I could go on and on. Millions and millions and millions of people. We dedicate the goodness, the merit of this practice so that it ripples out into the world in a gentle way, maybe a touch of warmth, a little flicker of hope, a little tangible scent of meaning, a profound connection. Breathing in, what is your marvel? Breathing out, enough space for the possibilities to arise, especially if you don't know yet. Breathing in the preciousness of this moment. Breathing out you exactly as you are in it. On behalf of the Spokane Sangha, thank you so much for blessing this space, for being a reliable, consistent source of inspiration for me and this whole community. I wish for you a beautiful day, and I hope to see you next time. Namaste.